Looking to add some serious oomph to your Android UIs? Shaders might just be the answer that you're looking for. These powerful tools can create stunning visual effects that are almost impossible to achieve with traditional techniques. In this series, we'll learn how to harness the power of shaders to take our apps to the next level. I'm really excited about this one. Shaders have been something that I've been wanting to learn on a deeper level for quite some time now. It's been daunting though because of the potential complexity. I don't know if you've ever looked at any shader code before, but it's pretty gnarly and usually very math heavy. But I'm finally doing it, so hopefully we'll all learn something useful by the end of this. So here's the plan. We're gonna set our foundation by learning about shaders. I've collected a bunch of resources, but the most notable one will be the Book of Shaders. We'll also be using a playground app built with AGSL and Compose UI so that we can actually build these shaders as we're learning about them to really solidify our understanding. Throughout this series, we'll be building a couple of cool examples that I've seen using this tech. After all is said and done, we will have a really cool and niche skill to add to our arsenal of tools as UI developers. For today, I just want to show you some cool examples of shader used in mobile apps just to show you what's possible. Then we'll go over the playground application and a simple shader just to get our appetites wet. All right, with that, let's get into it. Why don't we look at some examples built by some awesome people to get a sense of what's possible with shaders. Now, of course, as Android developers, in order to get some design inspiration, we have to look at iOS. First up is Marcus Eckert, who is building some of the craziest effects out there for his video editing app, Rivio. Check out this latest example that he built for image generation UI. It looks amazing, and honestly, if there's anyone showcasing the power of shaders to enhance UI, it's this guy. Yes, Rivio is an iOS app, I know, but we do have some brave folks paving the way for shader-driven UI on Android. Tasha Ramesh is doing some amazing work for creative coding using Compose UI, and she also uses shaders for some of the things that she creates. We'll actually be leveraging some of the things that she showcased for our playground app. And then of course we have the homie Sina Samaki, who did some really cool explorations with shaders and metaballs, which allow you to create this sort of liquidy effect. You might already be using shaders in your own code without even realizing it. If we look at this example that I built recently, it's using a blur render effect, which is actually powered by shaders under the hood. All right, now you know what's possible, and hopefully you're feeling inspired. I know I am. I just want to build some really cool shit. So let's move over to our playground, explore some simple shaders, and get started on the path. All right, so here we have a very basic setup for AGSL and Compose UI. Let's have a look around. Right at the top, we have the code for the shader over here, which is being passed to this runtime shader object. Because we are using this, we do have to make sure that we are running Android API 33 or greater. Now the code here is written in a string, but the cool thing is that Android Studio recognizes that we're writing AGSL code and it does some syntax highlighting for us. Now, as for what this code is doing, just know that it's what's powering this gradient over here. And don't worry, I'll be explaining it in much more detail in the next video. But for now, just pump the brakes, all right? We'll get there. Now, to render the actual shader, we're essentially just drawing a rectangle onto a canvas. But instead of just using a normal canvas, I'm using this playground composable here, which is essentially just wrapping a box that draws onto a canvas, but it's giving it access to a time variable, which can help drive animations and visualize some of our shaders. This little playground code was basically just taken from code that Tasha Ramesh and Nicole created, so I'll be sharing their repo in the description. Now I kind of just touched on it, but we are passing some values to our shaders that we can set dynamically, and those values are called uniforms. One of them is the actual time value that I was talking about, and another one is the resolution, which is like the size of the canvas that it's being drawn on. And then the last one here that we're setting is the actual pointer input location. So we're giving that information to our shader as well. And we'll be using these in various ways. So if we go back to our shader code here, we can see that we have a couple of these uniforms already set, the resolution, time, pointer. Now, the way that I name these variables isn't very conventional, but if you look at shader toy or shader code, this seems to be the convention for some of the uniforms that are provided. So I'm just following that for now. So like I mentioned, we are passing in the pointer input. So for example, if I change this code to center X and center Y, and I rerun it, we will see we get our shader again. It's black. But then like as I hold and drag around, we can see the colors changing. And this is kind of a good way to visualize the coordinate space of the shader. And then we are also passing the time. So if I just change these to animated red and animated green, I can type, then I rerun this. And we can see that our shader is now animating between like red and green and kind of blending the colors in between. So that in a nutshell kind of explains the foundation of the playground that we have and what we'll be using to explore different examples as we learn about shaders. I'll be sharing this code and updating it as we progress through the book of shaders, as well as build out our own examples. All right, that wraps up part 1 of this series. There's still a lot to cover for this topic, and I'm really, really excited to get into it. If you like what I'm doing, please like the video and consider subscribing. It really goes a long way for me. Also, if you want to add a comment on what kind of things you might want to see built with shaders, I promise I look at all the comments and I will definitely take it into consideration for future videos. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!